Yo, how is it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Down Podcast. I'm your host, Chris, and today I am joined by my co-hosts, Parth and Jaylen. How's it going, guys?
What's up, guys? What's up, guys?
So, today we're not going to be talking about the entire slate of Bears free agency. We'll be talking about that in the coming days. Today we're going to be talking about one ad specifically that Ryan Pace made earlier this afternoon in HaHa Clinton-Dix. Obviously, Adrian Amos left the Bears to head to the Packers, and we got one of their own back in Chicago. HaHa Clinton-Dix, a journeyman in the NFL, I guess one could say, over the last 365 days. Traded from the Packers to the Washington Redskins. Traded from the Packers to the Washington Redskins before the trade deadline. Washington brought in a ton of pieces for him, I guess, to try to convince him to come back in. Landon Collins being the biggest one, signed an $84 million deal there. And obviously Josh Norman is still a Redskin. But Ryan Pace pulled the strings on a one-year, $3.5 million deal. A prove-it deal for HaHa so he can get his stock up, start playing well again, and then sign for more money next year, hopefully with the Bears again. There's a lot of reasons to like this guy, but I'm going to go to Parth first. Parth called this a couple of days ago. He said the Bears should sign HaHa, and it played out exactly the way he wanted it to play out, and probably for a cheaper price than anyone expected. So, Parth, I'm going to start with you. Before this whole thing started off, why did you see HaHa as someone who you thought the Bears should bring in?
Well, I mean, I always loved HaHa Clinton-Dix. Like, whenever he played against us on the Packers, I mean, he always balled out against us especially. But whenever you watched him, I felt like there was a game, he had this game that could have been elevated with a good defensive coordinator, which he never really had in his NFL tenure yet. So Chuck Pagano is the one that can actually improve it a little bit, especially with this front seven, help him out, and let him be more aggressive like he likes to be, just like Eddie Jackson. And him and Eddie were also teammates in Alabama, which is also another reason why I wanted them to play together, because they know how each other play, so they know where to lean, where to help each other out a little bit.
Yeah.
So that chemistry's there, and he's also just super fun to watch.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I brought up Landon Collins earlier. He was another teammate of HaHa Clinton-Dix's at Alabama down in Tuscaloosa. Going through Clinton-Dix's 2018 season, though, 3 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and a sack on 2 different teams. He was a 2016 Pro Bowler and a first-round pick in 2014. I think that's the year the Bears chose Kevin White. Or no, they chose Kyle Fuller that year, excuse me.
Yeah.
The Bears now have 3 first-round draft picks from the 2014 draft on their team, starting on defense. Khalil Mack, Kyle Fuller, HaHa Clinton-Dix. Jaylen, I'm going to go over to you. What do you think drew Clinton-Dix to Chicago? I mean, obviously, Eddie Jackson's here, but you could also say the same about Washington with Landon Collins being there. HaHa spent more time in Tuscaloosa with Landon Collins. What do you think drew him to Chicago?
Well, first of all, he played in this division before. He's very familiar with it. He used to play for the Packers, of course, as we stated before. So with them trading him during the trade deadline, maybe he felt disrespected, and he wanted to come to a team like the Bears who, one, have a great defense, where we just came off of an NFC North Division title, and he had one of his best friends at Alabama as a star with him. So I can see that's why he came here. It's a prove-it deal. So if he balls out this season, maybe we definitely could look to re-signing him. But I think the main reason why the reason why he came here was because of our culture, our great defense, and of course Eddie Jackson, and us being in the NFC North. So he gets to play the whole team.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at HaHa throughout his career, something that really draws to me, sticks to me, is his physicality and his aggressiveness. Now, he's not known for being the greatest tackler. I will say that might be his one problem that he's got to work on this offseason. Eddie Jackson's obviously a free safety. HaHa's going to have to play strong safety, which he did play last year, but he wasn't as successful last year as he had been in previous years. Now, obviously, he had a new defensive coordinator in Mike Pettin up in Green Bay, and also got traded to the Redskins, which is a little bit of a different scheme down there in Washington. So it was tough for him. I think a year under Chuck Pagano's wing, someone who's known for working with players in the secondary, is going to be ultra beneficial to HaHa. But just overall, looking at him, You obviously the instincts similar to Eddie Jackson. He's a ball hawk. He can read the quarterback's eyes as well as any defensive back in the league. The only thing I would say that I want to see him improve on is probably covering over the top a little bit. The deeper it gets, he starts slacking off a little bit. And also just tackling in general. I will say, one stat on Pro Football Focus, Packers fans are all over the place right now saying, oh, all HaHa does is miss tackles. Pro Football Focus said that last year Adrian Amos had 9 missed tackles, HaHa Clinton-Dix had 8. Yeah. Any of you guys have anything else to say about him? Anything else you want to get up?
I'm excited to see him play for the Bears. You know, it's gonna be another pair of 2 great safeties for us. Hopefully makes their defense even better. Seeing Adrian Amos go wasn't easy. Especially a lot of Bears fans are coping by saying he's overrated and blah blah blah. Packers fans are saying
the same thing.
Is overrated.
Yeah.
Same thing. But you both loved him when he was with you. So I think they're both great players. They both deserve the contract. I mean, HaHa deserves more money, but I'll take it. It's a steal for us anyway. They both deserve the money that they're getting, and it's gonna be great to see both of them playing for the opposite teams now, and make the Bears and Packers rivalry even more interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna start asking Jaylen about this one. At 1 year, $3.5 million. Then you look at Amos's contract, which is 4 years, $37 million. Which of these contracts? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious, but which of these contracts do you think is a bigger risk?
The Amos deal, of course. Signing HaHa Clinton-Dix, a former All-Pro, so when you're deal, it's not much of a risk. It's much of a reward than it is a risk. But
yeah, totally.
Amos, he really hasn't been of course you look at his PFF numbers, and I hate to see other fans of different teams overrate him and talk about he's a elite safety when he's not. He's definitely solid. I'm not saying he's bad at all. But to him get $9 million a year, I think that's kind of crazy to me. But as some Packers fans said, well, that's a still of a contract for this type of safety, and that's definitely not true at all. Because most people don't know that last year, or in Eddie Jackson's rookie year, he was actually benched for Eddie. The only reason he started was because Clinton-Dix got hurt. So,
yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm gonna head back to you, Parth, and I'll speak on this one before you do. But I was talking to a couple of Bears fans earlier on Instagram about whether this is an upgrade or a downgrade from Adrian Amos. Here's what I think about it. Overall, at the end of the day, you look at the contracts. If HaHa underperforms, which I don't expect, I think he's got a great supporting cast in Chicago, and I think in offseason, continuing to play strong safety is only going to help him, especially with Chuck Pagano at the helm. But looking at his contract, if he underperforms for some odd reason, it doesn't really hurt us because we've got a defense full of playmakers otherwise. Looking at Amos's deal, he's now the only safety I would think that they have, and definitely the best player in their secondary. I think better than Jair Alexander. I can't tell you if this is an upgrade or a downgrade. We're gonna have to see how it plays out. But Parth, let me hear your thoughts on that. Just, do you think it's gonna be an upgrade, a downgrade? Obviously, they're both two very talented players, and HaHa hasn't really played it. I hate to say it, but he hasn't played it at a super good level since 2016. But what do you think about this replacement, I guess?
Right before I answer that question, I'm going to add a little thing, I guess. So our ex-defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, is now the head coach for the Denver Broncos, and they needed a safety. And he did not pay Adrian Amos $9 million he's getting. Yeah,
so $9.25 million, I think, a year. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just something to keep on the back of your head, that Vic Fangio didn't just throw money at Adrian Amos either. So that's just something to think about, that even his former his former coach didn't trust him enough to pay him $9 million. So to answer your question, I currently will say it's a downgrade just because of how Adrian Amos performed the last 2 years. Yeah, it wasn't exceptional, but we haven't seen how HaHa can play under our team. So I have to see how that will go, first of all. But right now, you have to list it as a downgrade, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's not that big of a downgrade.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Jaylen?
I think when you look at fit-wise, Adrian was definitely a fit for playing that in-box safety. He can come down and lay the hit on the running back. So when it comes to fit-wise, I definitely think it's a downgrade. But skill-wise, Adrian wasn't that much of a playmaker. He didn't get his first interception until last year off a tip pass. So I feel like coming in, definitely, I expect HaHa Clinton-Dix to make way more plays than Adrian did when it comes to turning over the ball. But fit-wise, I definitely think this is a downgrade. But we won't find out till we see, right?
Yep. Well, that'll pretty much do it for this episode, guys. You heard our thoughts about HaHa Clinton-Dix and how he fits in Chicago. We're excited to see what he brings to the field. It's going to be great to see him back with Eddie Jackson after an offseason under Chuck Pagano. I'm super excited. I don't know about you guys. But if you did enjoy this episode, do us a favor, smash a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. We'll be covering the rest of Bears free agency in the coming days before we start gearing up for our NFL draft coverage. And that'll pretty much do it for this one. You can find our social media links down in the description. You can follow our fan pages on Instagram. And you can also follow the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Bear Down. That'll pretty much do it for this one, guys. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Bear Down Chicago. Peace.